four major things, features of Java that you really need to be aware of. Those are Java packages, access modifiers, enumeration, and exceptions. I'll be explaining each of those conceptually and through examples. So first, let's start with packages. So maybe you're already exposed to this, maybe you're already familiar with this. So what do you think? What are packages? Maybe you've seen them a little bit before.
They contain all the classes.
They contain classes. Why do we use packages for? What's the reason? Always ask yourself, what's the reason of doing things? Why do we use packages? Any idea? By the way, how many classes do you think are in Java? Java as a language comes with so many built-in classes. And these classes, of course, offer functionality. There are thousands of classes. Okay, so packages comes in as a way of organizing these classes. So instead of just putting them in one place, we group them together. The related classes, we put them together in one package. So packages are nothing but a way of organizing things, keeping things organized. Yeah? And why do we keep things organized? What do you think? Why do we keep our room organized as much as we can? Yes, please.
Because in Java, not only one person is working on the program, it's many people working at the same packages, so they need to organize everything. So the other one might have a
That's good, yes.
hard time to know, is this a class, is this a function?
Yes, you're right, yes. So to make it easy to find and use. So when we keep things organized, we can find things very, very quickly. When our room is organized, if I need a mouse or a pen, I will go straight into the place and get it. If things are chaotic and disorganized, then it will take a lot of effort and stress to find something. So organization is all about speeding up finding things and using them without too much effort. That's what organization really, the fruit of the organization. If you put effort into organization, we all know this. If we put effort in organization, organizing the folders and files in our system, very easy to get to what I want. If it's not organized, then it's much, much harder. So for example, let me just show you, not to show you that I'm so organized, but just somewhat, to some degree. So for example, if I want to know what are the lectures I prepared so far for 251, because I am keeping things as much organized as I can jump to it directly. Here is the folder, here is the subfolder, and these are the lectures. Because it's organized, I can get to it quick. If it's not organized, I just create slides and put it anywhere. Then guess what? When you want to look for it, it won't be easy. We all experience this, yes? And we say, okay, next time I will be organized. And we start to be organized, and then suddenly we have pressure, and then we get back to chaos. And then we suffer from finding things. Same thing here. So it takes some discipline to keep things organized. So when you are doing a real program, things can get complex quite quickly. Lots of classes, lots of functionality. So whenever you have some complexity, to handle complexity, one way is to keep things organized. Okay, enough for selling this concept of packages. Now let me show you concretely what it means. So this is Java packages and classes that come with Java. So many classes and packages, as you can see from this list here. If we take just one of the packages, which is, and by the way, this is only one module. So Java has modules, and within modules there are packages. And within packages, what do we find? The classes. So in terms of modules, have a look. So many modules. Yeah. Now we take just one module, which most likely the whole 251 will be dealing with one module. We will maybe use one module, and towards the end we will use another module, which is JavaFX, for doing graphical user interface. So one module has, take a look. These are the packages within the module. And within the package, there are sub-packages. For example, if you remember, there is a Java util, and it has so many classes. One of them will be a list. If you remember, we used it last time. Here is a list. And also array list also belongs here. Can you see it? Array list. So it's just a way, packages are a way of organizing things. Now, if you remember when we start using a list, for example, in our customer class.
So the package is within a module?
Within a module. Forget about that part, because we will not use modules in this course, but just be aware of it. Java itself, because it became quite big, so they organize it into modules, and within modules we have packages, and packages can have sub-packages, and then packages have classes. Yes? In our course, we will learn how to use packages that come with Java and how to create our own packages. Yes? Okay, so you already know how to use packages, by the way. We did it last time together, but I didn't emphasize on it. So remember, we used the list to declare a list of accounts, which behave similar to array. And then in the constructor, we went ahead and actually created an instance of the array list. So if I remove this and save, suddenly I can see here some errors starting to pop up. What's the problem here?
What did you remove?
I removed this imports. Okay.
You don't have the classes. Okay.
So basically the poor compiler trying to compile this program is confused, saying, oh, you are talking about a list, but do you have a list in your package or in your program? Did I define something what a list is? Did I define what an array list is? Do I have an array list class here? I don't have an array list class. Do I have a list class? No. So the compiler now is saying, you are telling me you want to use a list and you want to use an array list. You need to help me to find them. Okay? Yes, you might say, okay, get them from Java. Java is so big. How can I just get them from Java? You need to give me a little bit more help. So that's why we go and say, oh, by the way, this list, where the list happens to be, which package? I just told you, java.util. So I'll go ahead and say import java.util.list. And then for the array list, which package it belongs to? Java.util.arraylist. Now you will tell me, how do I learn these packages? Of course, you will learn some in this course, the common ones. And as you progress in your career, you will learn more and more packages with experience. That's why in the job market, you will say, we want Java developer with 2-3 years experience, because they have more exposure to other packages and they can use classes in other packages. And of course, have more experience in developing and designing the solution and so on. But it will come with experience. Nobody can claim in the world that they know all the packages and all the classes. It's just so huge. Yeah, you just focus on the common ones, the important ones, and the other ones will come gradually. Okay. Now, in the Eclipse helps us to import packages if we want. The two ways, I can come here and type them myself. It's not hard. Import Java dot. There are so many sub-packages that belong to Java package. Which one I want? Util. Under util, there are many classes, sub-packages and classes. The class I want is a list. Strange. I was expecting it to give me. Okay, the other one is java.util.arraylist. Is the program happy now? Yes, it is happy. It knows that this list is coming from java.util.list. And the array list is coming from java.util.arraylist. Okay. Now the lazy boy, not you, will do something like this, which means bring all the, I'm not going to break my head and import one by one. Just say java.util imports everything. But that's not very good. I mean, the better to be more explicit and just import what you need. Yeah. Okay. Now, the other lazy but smart, what they will do is something a little bit different. They can get help from the editor. Okay, the editor, which is Eclipse in this case, I can come here and say, oh, by the way, this list appears in Java in 3 packages. Java.awt, java.util, com.sun.tools.javac.utils. Okay, which lucky one we want to use? The second one. We'll just ask the editor to import it for us. You see it? Yeah. Now, if we go to this other one here it is. Says, oh, it is available only in utils. Good. No need to do any choice and break our head. Khalas, just bring it in. Are we happy? Yes, everything is working. Yes. Is clear? So basically Java is a huge collection of classes, and those classes are organized into packages. If you want to use any class, you have to import it first. You go to before your class definition, you go and import the classes that you want. Okay. Now, why are we using packages? In one word, why are we using packages? Organization. Keeping things that are related together. Keeping things that are functionally related together. Okay, that's the idea of packages. Now, these packages is not limited to packages that come with Java. We can create our own packages. Yes, we can create our own packages. How do I create a package in practical way using Eclipse? I just go to the source, new package. Okay, and I give it a name. The name is usually a lowercase name. That's the convention. The whole name is lowercase. Now, if sometimes the names, sometimes an application, like let's say something like banner, it's so complex and it has so many parts. So I can have basically multiple, I can have a package, within a package I can have multiple sub-packages to keep things very organized. Similar to here, can you see in my folder structure of my course, to keep things organized, I have here admin, anything to do with admin, like this is your free time slot, this is the list of students, for example. This is the anything to do with the book, anything to do with the book, anything to do with the labs, lectures, quizzes, resources. You can see here I am keeping things as organized as I can. And within each subfolder I can have other subfolders, resources to do with JavaFX. I have all the resources there, for example. Yeah, you got the idea. So keeping things organized in some kind of structure, top-down structure. So same thing. So imagine, let's say something like Banner has a lot of functionality, a lot of features. You can think of Banner, you can divide it into modules, major blocks of functionality. For example, you can divide it into scheduling. There's one part that deals with the schedule. You can view your schedule, change your schedule. There's one part that deals with transcript. There's another part that deals with registration. There's another part that deals with student records. So at least we have at least these 4 packages: schedule, transcript, record, student record, and registration. It's clear? So I create these packages, and then I keep the functionality and classes related to each block of functionality under one package. Yes? And the way usually we name them, you will find this is very, very common. You might put the name of the organization, the name of the system, and the name of the module. So the name of the organization could be, let's say, QU.banner.schedule. for example. Yeah, this is one package. I can create another package, new package here, qu.banner dot, we said schedule, registration. Yes, you got the idea. Now under schedule, I might go ahead and create a class. Here is a class. I call it, for example, schedule class. Yeah. And here registration, I might create another class. I will call it registration class. So it's just a nice way of keeping things organized. Instead of having one package banner and I put all the classes there, I create multiple packages and I keep things much more organized. Yes, is clear the idea? Okay, now take a look at this. When I create a class, Eclipse automatically adds this line on top of my class. What this class indicate? What this line indicates? Yes, that this registration registration class lives in or belongs to which package? Query.banner.schedule. That's the first information it's telling us. The second information it's telling us, physically on disk, physically on your hard drive, where you will find this class in your hard drive? In a folder called QU, in a subfolder called banner. Inside that subfolder, there's another subfolder called registration. And inside there, you will find a class called registration. So you can see here what this package really means. Physically, in the file system, you will have a path in the file system. Let me show you what this means. So if I go here and go to properties, and I'll see that my project is physically stored in this location. Can you see it? Yeah. I can click there and go to that location. Under this location, there is a source folder where I keep all my source. And if I go there, surprise, surprise, what do I see there? QU. Now, QU has many sub-packages. By the way, in here, I created many things. I created the QU Bank, QU Bookstore, QU Gradebook, QU Library. All those will become subfolder of QU folder. Okay? So if I go to banner, now if I go inside QU banner, what do you think we will see? Which subfolders we will see? Registration and schedule. Okay? If I go to the registration subfolder, I will see the registration class. Yes, it's clear. So if you really look here very, very carefully, if you look carefully, when you see this package name, it tells you two pieces of information. The first piece of information, this class logically belongs to this package called qu.banner.registration. Yes, and also it tells us another piece of information, which is physically, you will find it on disk under the folder QU, subfolder banner, subfolder registration. Definitely you will find your class there. Yes? Clear? Remember that simple bank we did together and we have account? Account belongs to which package? Simple.bank. Which means, what does this mean? If I want to physically locate the file? Simple bank subfolder. And here it is. If I go here, if I go to my source files folder, I have here simple. No surprise, when I open simple, what I will find? Bank subfolder. When I open the bank subfolder, what I will find? The classes. The bank, the customer, the address, all stuff we did together last time. Yeah. So it keeps also the physical organization of the files. So packages define a logical grouping and also the physical organization. Yes? Yeah. Whenever you see the dot in the package name, what does that mean? It's a subfolder within that measure folder. Okay? That's why the best naming convention in many cases for professional applications, you will find yourself doing the organization name, the system name, and the module within that system. It's just a way of keeping things organized. Okay, it's clear? So let me show you. So far we've seen one role of packages, which is the main role.
The organization.
Organize related classes, related classes that are functionally related. They kind of related to the same module or functionality. We group them together. And why do we keep things organized? To make it easy to find and use. Yeah? Now that's one role. The second role, I will explain it now. Okay. Here, you can see here, take a look at this. We did together a simple bank. We worked on it maybe 2 weeks or so. And also I went ahead and created another bank, which is a little bit different, where I create the bank itself. In the simple example we did, we just had a customer has accounts, but we didn't manage the bank has accounts. So I created another package, and I put on it these classes. What do you notice here in these two packages?
The same.
So I have some classes having the same name. Yes? So first of all, packages allow me to have classes with the same name in different packages. Okay? But more importantly, let me demonstrate the usefulness of this, the importance of this. Now here is my package. I create a package, I will call it accounts, or let's call it bank demos. Yeah? And in here, I will create a simple class to test the actual accounts. Account test, and I will create a main method in there. Okay. So in here, what I will do here, I will go ahead and create an instance of account. Okay, we already starting with complaints. What's going on here? So accounts the compiler does not see accounts in this package. Okay, so it's not visible to it. It's not able to make use of it.
That means we have to declare it?
No, we already declared it. We spent 2 weeks working on it. We're not going to redo everything.
And we just import it.
We will import it, yes? Now we have two versions. One in Simple Bank and one in QBank. We make a decision. Let's make use of the Simple Bank, the one we did together, not the one I did by myself. So the Simple Bank, how I will import the Simple Bank account? Import simple.bank. Sorry. Simple.bank. .account. Yep. Any confusion now? No confusion. Everything is fine. There is no error. Yeah. Now imagine we have this lazy developer working with us, and for some reason they imported these two packages, QUBank and Simple Bank. Okay. Now, for some reason, we need these two packages in our program. Imagine we need these two packages in our program. This is now creating a problem for us. What is the problem?
Because we have to put account in the two classes.
Into two packages.
Yeah, in two packages. That means he didn't know which one.
Yes. Who didn't know? The compiler. The compiler is not able to distinguish or differentiate between the two. Okay? Because we are import, and this will happen in real world. In real world, you might import packages, and these packages might have classes with the same name, and then you will have this name collision. It's called name collision. The compiler is now confused. Which account are you talking about? Are you talking about the account coming from the simple.bank package, or are you talking about the account coming from QU bank package.
That's why we have to choose and
If we have the luxury to choose, no problem. If we have the luxury to say, okay, we don't need this, no problem. This will solve it. Yeah.
no,
But imagine,
we can put other inputs and make simple bank account.
yeah, or even that, I don't think it will help. No problem. This is even worse. It's
No, just one we put it.
okay, just one. Now it doesn't. It won't help. Did it help?
It's good.
Account to demonstrate.
Maybe now we know which one.
Simple account. It could be, but the best way when you have such scenario, let me just put this back. The best way, what do you think? Another way to do it? To tell the compiler. Sorry?
Creating the object to specify
Which package? Yes, thank you very much. That's basically the best way to do it. When there is confusion, the package will help you to lift that collision. All you do, you say to the compiler, this is what I really mean, and this is what I really mean. Is there any confusion now? Zero confusion. How did we remove this collision and this confusion from the compiler? Packages have two roles. First role is to keep things organized. The second role, that is related to organization, easy to find and use. The second role is
When to confusion when we have same
yes,
class.
yeah, to solve collision, to solve what is technically known as main collision. How do we solve this main collision problem? Yes, we go to the class and we say to the class, by the way, we mean the class coming from this package. So all I do, I put the package name in front of the class, and then the compiler knows exactly which one I mean. Is clear? Packages are clear? Okay, so I will just go straight now into here and just explain a little bit more and move on to the next topic. So packages are a way of grouping related classes together. That's what packages are. Is a way of grouping related classes together. Related classes means related in terms of functionality. Grouping, maybe we can put it here, functionally related classes. Functionally related classes are grouped together. Because I'm recording, I don't want to spoil the recording, stopping. Please don't talk. Okay. All right, so that's what I mean by related classes. And the second concept we saw that a package at the end of the day, it gets translated physically to a directory or not really a directory. I think this is not very accurate. To a path. It's more accurate to say path. I mean to file system path. So what I mean, remember we did QU banner schedule. It creates a path in the file system. You will have a folder called QU, and then subfolder banner, and then subfolder schedule. Yes. So the package name is the same name as the folder path, the directory, or the path which contain the Java. I prefer to use path because sometimes package is made up of many parts separated by a dot. And those dots, what they really mean, they are subfolders. Is the concept clear? Okay, this is very important to keep in mind. These are type of things I ask in the exams. I don't want you to just, okay, create package, import package. You really need to understand why we do this. Why are we doing all of this? Why are we using packages? Two reasons. Code organization, grouping function-related class into packages make it easier to find and easier to use. Second is to avoid name collision. When we have a name collision, we take the classes, we put in front of them the name of the package, and these will be they become distinguishable. The compiler will not confuse them. That's the role of packages. Now, there are, as I mentioned, hundreds of built-in packages with thousands of classes. So we will see some of these packages, especially Java I/O for input-output and Java util for lists and collections. We will also see other packages as we move forward. To use a package, you just put import and the name of the package, then the name of the class. On the lazy boy, we'll do the name of the package and start. Okay? But better to be explicit and just import the classes that you need. All right. Okay, now, for creating a package, usually we do that using a tool. Otherwise, you will have to go and create folders and subfolders yourself. But here, luckily, we use something like Eclipse. You go ahead, create a package. When I create a package, really what Eclipse is doing, creating folders and subfolders. And also, what else is doing after creating folders and subfolders? Any class I put in that package, Eclipse will add a line on top of the file, on top of the class, and then that line will say package and the package name. So this will be auto-inserted. And this tells us two things. It tells us the logical grouping, that the account belongs to the qu.bank package. And also physically, if we want to physically get to the .java file, I go to qu folder, bank subfolder, and I find the class account.java. Clear? Okay, that's it for packages. Simple concepts, very, very important to keep things organized. Other concept is access modifiers. Again, you are familiar with this. We already seen this. I just want to go through a little bit more details. So we have in Java 4 access modifiers. Private, default. Default means you don't put any access modifier. Protected and public. So first of all, what is this access modifiers? We have seen them already.
It decides whether the user will be able to get to it or through methods, for example, if you want to use the attributes private or public.
Yes. So basically it controls what? It controls visibility. It controls visibility of your classes, attributes, and methods. Yes? So if you come in front of an attribute, for example, and put the keyword private, what does that mean?
It is not visible by the users.
It's only visible within the class. Okay? If you put public,
It's visible outside.
visible everywhere. If you don't put anything, you don't put public, you don't put private, you just leave it.
Default is the default.
Default, yeah, I made a mistake last time. Default is not public. Okay? The default behave, if you don't put the name, if you don't put any access modifier, the default behave is that class or that attribute or that method will only be visible within the package, not outside the package. Let me demonstrate this. For private and public, you're already familiar with it. We did it together last time. We had some attributes public initially, we made them private, and then suddenly we don't see them anymore when we try to access them. Except if we are inside the class, then we see them. For public, we know, it's very obvious. Public, visible everywhere. Okay, let me see what this is complaining about. Okay, let me just... Okay, that's fine. Now, let's go to this class. By the way, you can jump to the class by putting control and click. Control, click. You can jump to that class. So you see here the access modifier of the class is public, which means visible everywhere. Now imagine I remove this and I save. Once I save, I get some complaints. You see here, I'm still using my account. No problem. Here it didn't complain. It's still visible. Why is it still visible? Because same package. But outside the package, can I access that class? No. It says here, type is not visible. Yeah. So you need to be careful. I think we need to correct that misleading statement I made last time. If you don't put any modifier, it means public. No. If you don't put any modifier, it means the default behave, and the default behave is
It is visible within the package.
visible within the package only. It's not visible outside the package. If you want to make it visible outside the package, you change the access modifier to public. Okay. So far we are familiar with three access modifiers. What are these three access modifiers? Public, visible everywhere. Sorry. Private, visible only within the class. Yes. And then? And the default. What it means, default? Do we go there and put the keyword default? We don't state anything. If we don't state anything, what is the default behavior? Yes, only visible within the package. Thank you very much. There's one more. We will emphasize on it later when we start talking about inheritance. There is something called protected. If you come to an attribute or a method and mark it as protected, then it's visible within the class and visible to children classes. It's not visible to any other classes. So protected is visible to the class itself and to its children. Remember the inheritance relationship? We have a superclass and child class. So if you put protected attributes on the superclass, who can see them? Only the class itself and the child. Can any other classes see those protected? No. And by the way, the child class could be in the same package or different package. It doesn't matter. As long as it's child, it can see the protected attributes. Yes, but we will emphasize this later on. Now, just keep it in mind. We will visit this. So visually, this is just visually. Private, what is the visibility of private? Within the class only. This is the boundary. Outside this, not visible at all. Now, default, if you don't put anything, visible within the package. This is for default. Public, visible everywhere. Protected, visible within the class and visible to child classes. Whether the child class happens to be in the same package or outside doesn't matter. Is clear? Access modifiers are clear. How many modifiers we have? 4. Private, public, default, and protected. Please make sure you understand them well. Okay. Now, what I want to explain, another very important feature quite used in Java, it's called enumeration. It's a special data. You can think of it as a special class. Let me explain it through an example. I think the best way is to explain it through an example. Okay, here it is. So let me go here to enumeration. And let me create a new class, test enum. Okay, now let me just put something like this. String, gender, and for example here, female, okay? Now, based on the gender, I might do something different, okay? Okay, so I might do something like this. Switch. You remember the switch statement?
Yeah.
Based on the gender, if it's female, I will do, for example, system.out.println. I will say she is outstanding. Okay, and guess what? If it's male, let's say, if the gender is male, what I will say? She? He. Okay. Why is this complaining?
Because we didn't create
mismatch. Cannot convert from string to boolean. Okay, let me see some other switch statement. Gender break. Why it's complaining? Oh yeah, maybe I need to close this. No, it's already closed. Ah yeah, of course. Oh, sorry, silly. Let me just delete this one. Let me create a new class, and what I call it enum. Yes, enum test. Yes, and I will just enum. I just create a public method in there. The reason why that code was not within a public method, was not within any method. Yeah. So this now should be okay. Clear? Okay, let's try to run it. Because the gender is female, it will say she is outstanding. If we change this one to male, of course it will say he is outstanding. Yeah, okay. Now,
Can I use ignore case in the switch?
ignore case. I don't think so. I think by default, it's case sensitive. It's case sensitive. But it's good question. Good that you asked. It's good that you asked because this will help me explain what I want to explain. So you see here, when we have this those are constants. And the gender, what are the possible values of gender?
Male and female.
Male, female. So in here, the possible values is limited. So instead of hard coding these values, and rightfully you said some developers might put male with lowercase, others might put male uppercase, or they put male all uppercase. They might write it differently. So why can't we define all the possible values of gender, and that's it? People will choose rather than type the gender label. Okay, so that's where enum comes in. Enum means enumerate all possible values. Can you enumerate all possible values of gender?
Yeah.
Yes. Can you enumerate all possible values of names of people? No, it cannot be enumeration. Can you enumerate all possible states of a light? Light, traffic lights. What are the possible? Red, green, yellow, red. That's it. So when you have a data type where the value can be enumerated, you can create an enumeration. Okay. So let's create an enumeration. Here it is. So to create an enumeration, instead of using a class, I use the keyword enum, give it a name, gender enum, and inside here, no enum lowercase, and inside here, what I will do, I'll define the constants belonging to this enumeration, which is basically female, male. Why is this complaining? Yep, there, sorry. I think I need to put it here. Yep. So as you can think of it as I'm creating a new class, but just instead of using class, I'm using enum. I give it a name, and then what I list inside it? All the possible values. Yes? Okay. Now, when I create an enum, what I just created when I create an enum?
A drop-down list?
No. When I create a class, what I just created, when I create a class, I created a data type. Thank you very much. When I create an enum, I created a data type. So, what do you think the gender now? What do you think the data type of gender? Is it string? Is it gender enum? Yes? And now, instead of writing male and female, what I will do? Female. Okay? Is clear? Now let me just cut this one. Because now this is an enum, what I can do here, there is some trick. Yes, you can see here I can go here and basically add missing case statements, odd statements. You see what it did? Because it knows the possible values, it can automatically create for me these cases. Even if it doesn't, I can do it myself, but it does create them for me. Okay, and then basically in here I will do the same thing. So basically instead of having male, I put it female here, and this is male, female. I don't think I need to do this. Yes, this will be okay. No, it didn't like it. Okay, that's it. Let me run it, see if it's working as before. No problem. See, so it's working as before. What is the advantage of doing all of this? Let me first see what we did. What did we do since I started talking about enumeration? We created an enumeration, which is a data type, special kind of data type. What do we do? What do we define in this data type? The possible values of variables of that particular type. All the possible values. So when can we create enumeration? When the possible values are fixed. Possible values are fixed. Then we go ahead and create enumeration. Once I create an enumeration, what I already created? New data type. I can use it to declare variables. Now when I assign values to these variables, can I assign any values I wish, or it must be one of the enumeration values? Must be one of the enumeration values. I cannot put my own values here. I cannot put, for example, let's say female like this, or male, or can I do this? No, it must be one of those values. So this way we don't have a problem. This way it's standardized. No other developer will do the same, will do a mistake, because the values are already defined. If you want to assign a value, it must be one of those. And you can use them nicely in an if statement, in a switch, and so on. And it's not hard coded. You define